it's your boy TWill. So like in this video, we're gonna be going over how to do like the vintage sample, kind of like a little jazz to it, you feel me? So I plan on dropping MIDIgram 2. I'm pushing for the 20th of this month. So yeah, other than that, you know, expect more videos from me. If you guys like this tutorial, make sure that you like, you subscribe, and you comment. If you learn something from these videos, if you don't, just let me know. If you guys want a guitar tutorial next, just let me know. But other than that, we're gonna get straight into this video. So in this video, we're gonna be going over this sample called Jazz World that I made. Alright, so what I'm gonna go over is the chords that I use. Now the chords are really basic, bro. Even though this sounds like it's crazy and it's all over the place right now, it's really basic chords. It's a triad and a dyad. So if you don't know what a triad is a 3-note chord and a dyad is a 2-note chord. But the sounds that you hear within the original sample are the sounds that came from this board that's right here. I did a video on this board like a while back as far as no more VSTs. I'll probably put that somewhere on the screen. The sounds that I chose that aren't coming from the board, but they are still similar to what you just heard, is going to be this LA Custom Club. The bass is a default VST that's in FL Studio. It's called the Boo Bass. Now with this Boo Bass, I'm gonna let you know right now before I forget, is that you want to turn the bass up because the bass is halfway. So turn it all the way up and turn your treble all the way down. After that, I have this VST right here. It's called Lounge Lizard. The bank that I use is the Time based, and the program that I use is the B-Fly 1. Now, of course, this has a whole bunch of other program sounds that you can use up here. And the next sound that I use is the Jubal flute. If you don't know, in a lot of jazz music, you have a saxophone, you have a flute, you have trombones, you have a lot of different instruments. The Jubal flute was the closest I could get to an actual flute. The next sound that I use is the Smoked Hammond Full. Now I could have used any of these other ones, but I chose the full one specifically because it gives me the high end of the organ. The last sound that I went to was this arcade bank for the saxophone, and this is just the City Sax. So the chords that I used was just 2 chords, A minor, which is a CE. Now, if you don't know how to make a basic triad, the chromatic sequence, which is a technique that I teach in almost all my videos, is the matter of, if I say A is the key of the whole entire sample, A is going to be 0. The next note, which is this black note, is going to be 1. B is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc., etc. And the only way that you're going to make up this chord is just using the 0, 3, and 7 sequence. So you're going 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's how you end up making a minor triad. Regardless of where you start at, it's always going to be a minor triad if you're using the 0, 3, 7 chromatic sequence. And once I did that, this is the same exact chord. So I'm going to just play it by itself. And then this is a dyad. So if you don't know what a dyad is just a 2-note chord. So you have 0, 3, 7, 0, 3, 7, and then you have, so we're going to go down from 0, 11, 10. So let's go back to 0, 1, 2. So 10 and 2. So those are the only 2 numbers that I use for the second chord. And then for this part that's right here, I strummed it right on beat 3. It's where I wanted this A to come back. So if you don't know how to do the strum technique in FL Studio, so let's quantize this real quick. Highlight this, so hold the left control, left click it, and highlight all of these notes. Hit Alt S, and then this is how it brings up this strum. Just slide it back to where it gives you that sound that you're listening for. This next chord is not technically on the grid because it's a realistic feel. That's what you want, so everything is not going to be on the grid. It's the same chords throughout this whole thing. The only thing that changes is just the rhythm, which is right here. And it's the same chords over and over. Now this, the D right here, you don't really necessarily need it. And all I did at this part was just to kind of make it like a triumphant feel to it. I brought up this level scaling, and I just did Alt X, bring up this level scaling, and all I do is mess with this multiply. Now I mentioned this before in my previous video, so if you haven't seen my previous video, just click the link that's down below in the description. And all you got to do is mess with this multiply, and this multiply just makes it less harsh, brings the velocities down, then you're good to go. So that's how I ended up getting the chords. The bass line, this is what it sounds like by itself. And all I really did was just stay within the chords. And the only time I did something different was just go to this F down here. And in order for me to get to this F, all I did was I just went down 4. So just highlight that, take it over, and then go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're good. Refer back to the chromatic sequence that I was showing you guys. If you go up 7 steps, that is a perfect fifth towards the note, which in most cases, but not all cases, it's going to work regardless, like especially if you're using the bass line. So let's highlight this note real quick. We're gonna hold the left shift, we're gonna left click. Right now all I did was I just duplicated it, but you don't see it until I move it up. So what you want to do is you want to go up 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that is, like I said, a perfect fifth. And I tried to stay in the areas where the ghost notes for the piano, and then I went back up to the same note, and in order to get to there, you go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how you end up getting up to your other root note. I always say that every 4 bars or 8 bars, you know what I'm saying, you want to switch it up. So that's why I added this note right here, which is a B. It's a jazz song that I used to play when I was in college. I remember that it didn't go to the root note, it actually went to the next note within the scale. Same concept as that. That's how I ended up coming up with that, and then just went down to this E, because just like right here, like I said, when you're going to that fifth, that perfect fifth, or when you're going up chromatically 7 half steps, when you get to this note, just remember that note, and you can do the same thing down below. The next sound that I went to is the Rhodes. Now the Rhodes is a very settling instrument, and it's adding texture towards the melody. All I did was just kept the same triad chord that I had as the first chord. The next thing I added was this flute. It's just something that I heard in my head, and I was like, okay, this could fit. I just stayed within the gray areas. It's really just the same thing repeating over and over, but it's just a matter of the rhythm to it, you know what I'm saying, and it's real catchy. So that's how I ended up coming up with the flute. The next instrument that I used is the organ. Now the organ, I'm not gonna lie, bro, the organ, you just have to play it in. Now this is a very common thing, especially in churches. Now if you don't know, in church they do this so much, bro, especially when the pastor's preaching or like an exciting part that's about to come up, you're gonna hear this so much. And it's just the same chords, it's just been inverted. If you don't know what an inversion is, so if I take this note, if I bring this down, we're back at the A minor triad right here. The same first chord that we did. It's just a matter of taking the bottom note and taking it up an octave, which means you're taking it to the same note, but you're taking it up a higher register, or you're taking it down to a lower register. Thunder and Lightning just kept the idea in mind. But the thing is though, what people kind of mess up at is they don't turn the organ down. This is turned down to 25. Now, if you don't know that when you're listening to songs or any type of instrumentals, the organ is in the back, bro, and it's turned down because it's just filling in the space. You feel me? It's not supposed to be like in front and just like bearing over top of all the other instruments. Second to the last thing I added was this arcade. Like I said, it's the city sax. And what I did was just found a phrase within here that fit with the chords and it fit with the excitement. So this is what the sax sounds like. Now the sax was the only thing I added an effect to, and the only effect I used was a Fruity Reverb 2, and I just turned down the wetness to 28, and I turned down the dryness to 90. So if I just play the sax by itself, If I turn it towards the right, I don't hear it in front as much, and it's kind of like in the back somewhere. But then when I turn it to the left, it's more in front. If I turn it all the way to the right, this is what you hear. You hear it, and then let me turn it all to the left. Now it's more like stereo. That's the idea that I got. I make sure that I turn the size, turn this all the way up. What I did do is put a Fruity Soft clip on here. What I went to was this vinyl. Now this vinyl came from TV's one-shot kit. Say if I was using one shots or whatever, just take this, drag it over here, and it'll bring up exactly wherever you got the sound from. These MIDIs will be in my Patreon if you guys want to tap into it. It also includes some other MIDIs. These sounds and stuff, I would not know what's supposed to go into this type of genre or into this type of style if I didn't do my research. Now, if you want to figure out jazz musicians and jazz artists to listen to, just go over to this site and it'll bring up the best jazz musicians, like 40 of them. You got a lot of jazz musicians like Miles Davis, Dizzy Gillespie, Louis Armstrong, some of the top musicians, bro, like jazz musicians that you should definitely listen to. So if you really want to learn this style, listen to these musicians and listen to how they articulate different things, how they put their phrases on things, all this different stuff that people take for granted that makes them who they are today. And that's why they became the best. I'm gonna make it quick. I'm not gonna go into a whole story. I mean, when I was in college, you had to listen to a certain musician and be able to tell the difference between this musician and the other musician. That's what made my ears a lot more better, is because I had to be able to distinct the two without even seeing who it is that's playing. I just had to go off of my ear. Just be able to tap into that world of using your ears. If y'all do want me to talk about this type of stuff, bro, and give y'all some information and some more websites for you guys to check out as far as musicians, different styles, different genres, just let me know down below in the comments. I'll go into detail about this stuff. Don't sit here and just focus on producers, bro. Take the time to listen to musicians, because I'll put it like this: the same amount of time that you put into learning and listening to how they make stuff is the same amount of time and thought process that you should put into learning this type of stuff. That's how you get better, bro. You're going into a whole nother avenue than what you're used to, you know what I'm saying? But if you just stick to one thing, that's all you're gonna know. And I'm always showing this type of stuff on my Patreon, definitely on the Discord too. Like I said, the Discord link is down below. Please comment. I don't know if y'all really learn anything, because the comments really help me out personally. I don't even know what to give y'all next, you feel me? So make sure that you comment down below, tell me exactly what you guys like. Other than that, I am out. I appreciate y'all, I love y'all, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace out.